Now, two Chagosian nationals are launching a legal challenge against British officials whom they believe are guilty of apartheid. Back in the 1960s and 70s, the British government displaced families from the Chagos Islands in the Indian Ocean in order to build a US military base. Solomon Prosper was forcibly removed from his house on the island of Diego Garcia at the age of 3. His family was sent to the Seychelles, 1,200 miles away, while others were sent to Mauritius, over 1,300 miles away. Prosper believes the colour of people's skin played a role in why the British and American governments forcefully displaced over 400 families. He claims many were forced to sleep under trees as well as in prisons or seek shelter with charities. Well, back in 2010, WikiLeaks published confidential cables that outlined British plans to make parts of the Chagos Islands marine reserves. The document said the area would gain environmental protection and reassured the US they wouldn't infringe upon their military base on Diego Garcia. And it also means that British citizens formerly living on the islands would find it hard to make claims to resettle there. Well, last year, the United Nations ruled that the current British occupation of the territory was unlawful, while a spokesperson for the Foreign Office has said the government has repeatedly apologised for the expulsion of the families. Well, to discuss all of this further, I'm now joined by the claimant's representative, Dr. Jonathan Levy. Dr. Levy, thank you for talking to us. You're bringing the case. Do you think you've got a chance?
Oh, absolutely, Kate. What we have here is a classic case of apartheid. You have a group of African people who've been dispossessed, their islands put under military occupation by the United States and Great Britain, and laws passed that strip them of all rights to citizenship and keep them away. That is apartheid, and we're bringing charges and hope the people responsible are arrested.
Well, is it really apartheid? It was about strategic positioning, wasn't it? I mean, is it really a question of race? Does that really come into it?
Oh, absolutely. If you go back through some of the old documents, they refer to these people as Tarzans and Man Fridays, and it clearly only affected Africans. The current administration of what they call the British Indian Ocean Territory is pure white English. There's no Chagosians involved at all. And the main thrust of that entire territory is to keep the African people out of there and preserve that as a pristine area for the American base at Diego Garcia.
Do you think if the Chagosians were white, they would have been treated more fairly?
Oh, absolutely. We take a look at other little bits of the old empire and we see the Falkland Islands where England will go to war to protect its white colonists. We have a base on Ascension Island with a similar American base, but the white inhabitants are free to come and go. And there's other instances. It's clearly a case of racism and a very bad one.
In the case of the Falklands, though, it was an act of war, wasn't it?
Well, there was a war with Argentina, but again, England was willing to go to the very ends of the earth to protect its white colonists. In this case, it is taken these people from their homes and is working very hard to keep them out of their homes when there's no reason. There's no Cold War going on anymore. There's no threat to that part of the Indian Ocean. It's friendly countries surrounding it. There's no national security event that requires an ethnic cleansing for 500 miles in all directions from Diego Garcia.
Well, the leak cables, as we heard there, seem pretty damning, but the UK has apologised many times, hasn't it?
Yes, we have a term for that called crocodile tears.
Well, isn't it also now up to the US as well? I mean, they do have a military base there.
Yes, the U.S. is aiding and abetting the apartheid, and hopefully the International Criminal Court will take a very strong look at that.
Well, the UK government says it's providing £40 million in support to Chagosian communities in Mauritius, the Seychelles and the UK.
Yeah, well, that's called a scam. The money is flowing back to the British Indian Ocean Territory Administration, who are the very ones committing the apartheid. My clients will never see a penny from that, nor will most Chagosians. A sham and a complete fraud.
So, Dr. Levy, you're saying none of the Chagosians have seen any of that money?
No, the British are paying themselves, essentially, or paying non-Chagosian non-profits to provide things like English lessons to people who already speak English.
Dr. Jonathan Levy, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.